Hey guys, this is my CSE 3541 game animation final project. I decided to do a racing game, so it's just be a quick demo for you guys. So as you can see here, I have a menu screen with buttons that have on-click listeners on them. Well, depending on which one you take you to different scenes. One thing to note, I have the audio disabled for the project right now, just so I can do this demo and you can hear me clearly. But there is music and there will be sound effects in the actual project when you get to see it. So we can click one player race, which will just be a single player on the racetrack. As you can see here, one of the features I did implement is an exhaust pipe. I used a particle system for that. As you speed up, as you can see, it dissipates to kind of simulate what real life will be like, because you don't really get to see the exhaust at those speeds. So as you can see right here, we have basic forward and backwards steering for the car. There is also a brake button if you want to use a brake. I ended up getting most of this scene anyway, is based off a tutorial I found on the asset store. It had a pretty cool tutorial of setting this up, but the setup was basically just a and this racetrack. It had all the physics set up and everything, but you can't exactly, there wasn't really any video game functionality set up in it. So I've kind of done my best, at least a little bit more of a actual video game feel to it. A couple features along the way that'll show this to you. Let's just get through this track here. The physics of this game are a little weird, at least the ones that I did, or that the tutorial came with. It uses wheel colliders, which is nice to make the wheels spin, make it seem like it's authentic. Not exactly screwed up, just not done completely well, to where there are some points, it has a script where it'll stop the car from flipping, it'll flip it back over for you, but sometimes random points on the track you do get hung up on a little bit, and sometimes you just have to restart if you're stuck or something like that. One of the things I have implemented is a finish line. So one of the parts of the track up here, I created an invisible wall with, and it'll kind of determine who wins the race and whatnot. And once you go back, or once the finish line is crossed, it will go to back to the main menu, and it also determine the winner. So it's coming up right here. So I use an on trigger event to, once I get past it, it says you win. All right, this wins. And as you see, it'll take us back to the two-player race. So now we will go to the two-player race. This is a different scene with two different cars implemented. So yeah, as you can see here, we have two cars implemented. Currently, only one of them has the exhaust. I know you can see that. For whatever reason, my Unity was kind of freaking out when I used both of them, so I have them both implemented, but one is just checked off. As you can see here, if I try to back up to and cheat, I put an invisible wall here to kind of stop you from going backwards to just get to the finish line right away. But as you can see, there's two cars, and I'm controlling both these right now, so it might be a crappy implementation of a game, but see, both of them are trying to race each other. We do have basic car collision, that type of thing. It gets a little bit messy there. But yeah, controls, at least for the left or the red car, will always stay the same, to where the WSAD for just forward, backward, left, right, and the space bar. The second car just uses basic arrow keys to go forward, backward, left, right, and the right shift button to brake, but it basically has pretty much the same controls as the other car does. I ended up having to set up a couple cameras for this, which creates this split screen effect that you can see pretty well. But yeah, basic car or racing game that you can play with all your friends if you want. I will get through the rest of this just to kind of show the finish line effect for two cars. And yeah, as you can kind of see on the other screen while I'm doing this, I'm mainly trying to do one car right now. But if you do have a car hit something and don't take care of it and just leave it, the camera does get a little twitchy. That's something that kind of came with the tutorial that I tried to fix, and it just for reason wasn't gonna work for me, and so I just kind of left it like that. But yeah, I kind of had with the split screen. I use the same scripts for these types of things, like the finish line stuff like that. But I kind of had to think of it differently, especially with just the camera being split like it was, to where you have to place it in different directions, place the U-win in different places. I'm One of the big issues I did have coming up with the finish line was what happens if it's if it's a split second decision. That one car crosses right after the other. I managed to get it working to the point where if the winner will have it, you win. But if the other car crosses right afterwards, it will just get rid of the pop-up for the other one. So I have that implemented. But yeah, as you can see, I cross the finish line right here. I get, oh, you win, hit the invisible wall. So it's just kind of like a stopper point. But yeah, that's pretty much my whole project. So if you have any questions, just let me know, but thanks.